What's up, guys? So here's the secret sauce. Essentially, I built myself a little network in SaaS, which mostly came from my presence at conferences, right? So when I go to conferences, basically just try to be myself and I carry on my microphone and I just go up to people. I'm like, hey, are you a SaaS founder? I interrupt them, ask them questions like, what's your MRR? What's your definition of product market fit? And it's not that I've done that at one conference that worked. It's that I've done it at around 12 conferences. And I did it last year. Conference season, I started like in October. I did SaaS Talk, then I did a bunch of little SaaS Talk events like in Bucharest and Paris, and then I went to How to Web, and that piled up. So this year I did another round of conferences, and the people that I met at these conferences, these founders, because I've been interviewing founders, are what created that initial little group of people. And then I never really tried to sell anyone anything. When I started face to face, I was still very much running the interviews, and I continued doing the interviews in person at conferences. I've done very little interviews online. I've done close to 300 interviews at conferences and about 50 interviews online. So I just kept doing the interviews at conferences. That's how I started with face to face. Got the idea at a conference where I wasn't doing interviews in Zagreb, Sastanak. And then when I went to the Hayreach party, I basically pitched them. They were doing a 1 million ARR party. I got invited to it. I went there and I was like, hey guys, over the weekend, I just started working on this new thing, face to face, FaceTime on your website. Nick, the CEO, was like, this is sick. The CTO was like, this is dope. We could use it for a bunch of reasons. And then Ilya, the head of biz dev, he was basically like, nah, not a fit. And after like 3 hours talking to Ilya, we cracked a use case for it. And then I went to another conference and that's where I met Stefan from Expandy. That's where I met the Salesforge guy. Although I had interviewed Frank prior, like a month before online. But then when I went to TechPon in Bucharest, I saw him again and there we talked for like an hour. Same thing with Jesper Quist, met him at a conference. A lot of these guys, I met them at conferences. And then I never really pitched my software. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm building this thing. We have these guys interested in it. What do you think? And then they're like, oh yeah, that's sick. So because they liked me as a person, that worked. And then that built the initial moat. When we built the product, the first none of them bought anything. They didn't pay. I didn't even ask them to pay. I went to find strangers to pay for it. So that's where I did an outreach campaign on AppSumo founders, and I got 3 pre-sales from 10 conversations from the AppSumo campaign. Basically, lifetime deal, $100, right? That was the first thing we did in July. And these AppSumo people still support us in the comments today. So it created like this little viral loop of people supporting us in the comments. And that is what makes up most of the fan base today when I think about it. So a big portion of it comes from just, I guess, my personality and being me. But what you can replicate is go out there, provide value first. By interviewing people, I've interviewed almost all of them, right? By interviewing them, you're kind of like creating this cool relationship where you're like, basically, hey, I'll create content about you. Most of those interviews I've never published, but I still interviewed them and they still felt listened to in that moment, which kind of builds that initial trust, right? So the interview method is really cool. And then when you pair that up with building a great product for which they're the ICP, just being like, hey, dude, I'm building this thing. I wanted to show it to you. What do you think? And please make sure you have like something actually innovative. But yeah, just reach out and ask for feedback. That one's really good too. And then when you have your initial mode of customers, start doing videos about it. These videos you're going to start doing, these posts where like, hey, well, we just onboarded this guy. We just onboarded that guy. We just onboarded this guy. They create like a FOMO snowball effect in the market. Everyone's like, oh shit, he's interviewing this guy. He's interviewing that guy. He knows what he's doing. And like you probably don't even know what you're doing still, but it creates that loop. For example, we have like 26 customers now. By the time we had 8 customers, because I had posted about every single one of them, people thought I had like 50 customers, right? And now that we're at like 25, 26, people think we probably have like 100 customers. It's funny how that goes. So just be very vocal about it on LinkedIn. Build in public used correctly is a serious weapon. You should use it very mindfully. Yeah, I think build in public is like a big one because people want to be part of the journey. There's all kinds of solutions out there. Like people are not buying software anymore. Like yes, they are, but they're buying your story. You can either sell the software first or you can sell yourself first. And I think it's a heck of a lot easier to sell yourself first and then sell the software. So that would be my advice. Sell yourself first. Give people, so you can optimize for two things, MRR, and you can optimize for what I like to call attention retention, right? How much does your content, so posting one post, second post, third post, how much does the attention carry over from post to post? And does your attention coverage increase, right? Does your retention increase? Do the same people like your posts over and over again, right? Do the same people comment on your posts over and over again? What percentage of people are recurring? What percentage of people are new? What's the average amount of posts that people recur to? Like, I would start paying attention to those things and try to optimize your personal brand for attention retention, right? Basically, like, because that's how you can tell that you're not just writing good content, but your entire brand is telling a story about who you are, what's your journey. Right. And that's a big one for us at Face to Face. Like we're bootstrapped. We don't have any crazy funding. I'm not like super well connected, or at least I wasn't like a year ago. I'm still very new to this. Like most of the big guys either have no idea who I am or like it's still too early. But it seems like we're super well, like, and that is because the couple people that we do have, like West Bush, Expandy, Harry, like I'm making sure that we are like doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on these relationships and basically like going deep, right? When you can't go super wide, like for us, there's no point in us spending $1,000 a day on ads. We don't have it. There's no point in us sending 10,000 emails a day. It's like we don't have the in-house expertise for it. Like it's pointless. But what we can do is I can build really deep relationships with 5 to 10 people who have huge audiences, like tech punk guys, right? So that's what I would optimize for. And just focus on that. That will give you the moat. And if you can do that very well, then like really all you need, and this is part of my strategy, it's like get to 100 customers, focus on building in public. Don't focus so much on customer acquisition for the sake of revenue. But focus on customer acquisition for the sake of getting champions, right? Getting people that are fired up about your brand. Like if I have 100 customers and they're all champions, meaning they all like my post, they comment on my shit, they're out there supporting us, they come and they say, yes, this product is amazing, Nick is a great founder, buy this tool, right? If my 100 customers are doing that and I'm making like 100K ARR, that's worth more than someone who's making $1 million ARR but got all of their customers through ads and has no word of mouth power. So really optimize for network effect. I think that's my advice, like to all you guys. That's what I'm doing, right? That's my game plan. And by doing that, you're building deep relationships. It forces you to build deep relationships. It forces you to focus on what matters, which is the retention. Both inside the product, making sure customers are successful, that their implementation of the product is successful, that they're getting results from it, that it works, but also that they're retained to your brand, that they're watching your content, that they're coming back, that they give a shit about what you're posting. If you can achieve those two things, retention on the MRR, retention on the content, and you slowly scale them, the cool thing is that this scales and it compounds, right? It's hard to compound ads. It's easy to compound a network effect, right? Every customer brings more customers. So that's how the brand and my personal brand and Face to Face are working synergetically. And there's so much more I could tackle. If you're interested in hearing more, I'm going to put a link below for a 90-minute whatever live stream webinar, which I'll be hosting probably end of the month or in January, talking about this very topic how I got to where I am and what my view is on modern day GTM for bootstrap founders. So if that's something that's interesting to you, let me know by signing up below. And yeah, hope you got some value out of this. Ciao.